Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of our podcast, Is Breakfast Included? What is going on with everyone today, huh? I don't know either. Today on the show, I sit down with my good friend, Christi Clark. Christi is an artist based out of Dallas, Texas. I've known Christi for the better part of 20 years. Did not even know she was an artist. She started in 2007 just doing little projects for her daughter, and it's turned into a full-fledged obsession, and she's really good. I don't have a name. It's very eccentric. I guess that's the word I'm looking for. But anyway, the detail that goes into her art is amazing. She has an exhibit right now at the Goldmark Cultural Center. She has one coming up in November, end of October, November. She talks about that. We talk about art. We talk about hanging out. It was good catching up with a good friend. I hope you enjoyed this conversation. Let's check it out.
Let me take my glasses off because you make me sweat.
All right. Introduce yourself.
My name is Christi Clark.
And
what
do?
I make art. I make weird, random art. Whatever pops into my head.
And that's why I contacted you, because I've known you the better part of 20 years.
Yes, a long time.
20 years.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
We're old.
We are. Do you remember the day we met at that concert? And we snuck into the VIP?
Yes.
And we didn't even know each other. We're just like, fuck it, let's go in.
Yes. And that was the best night ever. I tell everybody about that.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun.
When I talk about my friend Bernie, I'm like, you'll never believe what he did.
We're like, just walk in. Just act like you know, you belong here.
Yeah. You were just like, just come on. Just,
Yeah.
And we felt so weird. But it was the best thing ever.
It was good. It was had a lot of fun that night.
It was Hatebreed. Do you remember that?
It was Hatebreed.
It was Hatebreed.
Someone else.
Yeah, it was someone else, but that's who I remember.
Wasn't Slipknot, was it? Hatebreed?
No.
Hatebreed was one of the bands.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
That's back when we were dirtbag metalheads.
We were.
Anyway, I've known you for the better part of 20 years. We hung out a lot back in the day. I didn't even know you were an artist.
I didn't know I was an artist.
How long have you been doing art?
I started when I would say maybe 2007, when my daughter was about a year and a half.
Yeah.
And I wanted to make something special for her dad for Father's Day. So I made like a canvas with, pictures of her and just like little things from her, like hair bows and stuff like that, pretty stuff.
Yeah.
And then as she got older, she wanted specific things to play with, and we couldn't find them. So I figured out ways to make them, making a lot of trips to the hobby stores and the craft stores. And I guess she's the one that just kind of kicked it off in me. And
so before that, growing up, you
well, I mean,
did you
who
doodle
didn't take art? Yes. Yeah. Who didn't take art? Everybody took art in school because it was an easy A. At least that's why I took it. It was an easy A. So, yeah, I mean, doodled, and I love to, write. Writing was a big thing for me. I like to write just books and just write just anything, random thoughts, whatever. So I've always been doing stuff with my hands, writing, doodling, drawing, but I didn't really think I could be an artist. I still don't consider myself an artist. I consider myself like a person that has a hobby.
Well, I look around, and to me, it's more than a hobby. I have this is a hobby. What we're doing now is my hobby. You said you like doing things with your hands. There was a time you and I went to play pool, and you wanted to throw hands.
Oh, was that me? See, I found a better way to, work with my hands. That's how it is. Anyway. That's how you are when you're at the clubs in your 20s.
Yeah. No, so did you start off with we'll get to these houses. Is that how you started off in just making things? And
yes.
And it wasn't like painting or?
No, I actually started building. That was like one of the first things I did. The dollhouse here is the first one I've ever built, and it was for my daughter to play with. So this is her.
This one.
Yes.
Okay.
That was her dollhouse, and she played with it forever. And then when she turned 15, she said, "You can have it." And I was like, "Hee."
So now it's called it's a work in progress.
Yes.
And this is what I reached out to you about. It's called Hoarder House.
It is called Hoarder House.
Why do you call it Hoarder House?
Because one of my favorite shows is Hoarders. Because I don't know. I understand the whole hoarding thing. I mean, as you can see, I hoard art supplies, but when I watch that show, I'm obviously talking
with Matt, the cleanup guy.
I'm like, just
Robin and
dump everything. Take them out to dinner and dump everything. Obviously, you can't do that, but that inspired it. It's one of my favorite shows, and I've never seen anybody make a miniature hoarder house. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. And I think I got in too deep.
Yeah.
It's coming along.
It's coming along. I like I said.
It's
really
pretty
cool.
gross right now. So it's getting there.
How much more do you have before you get there?
Well, everything is done as far as like the walls and the furniture. I just have to pile in all the junk in the trash. Okay. That's it. And then it'll be finished.
And do you make that junk and trash? You make it all handmade?
Yeah.
I was looking at some of your art where you have an exhibit going on right now.
Yes.
And it's where is it? Where can they find this exhibit?
Goldmark Cultural Center.
In Dallas,
Texas.
So you have some stuff up on the wall that you said that I was asking about. You got inspired by the little shacks in there.
Oh, yes. Yeah. The shanty towns. Yes.
Shanty towns.
Yeah. Yeah.
And those, did they come before this?
That's a good question. I kind of work in, and I don't know, that's a lot of people ask me, what do you do? And how do you get, what's your process? I guess artists have process. I don't have a process. It's like something pops into my head and then I do it. So they kind of came in the middle of it, so I would work on the hoarder house, and then I would, I guess, get tired of working on the hoarder house and then
so it's all you work on stuff simultaneously.
Yes, I have numerous projects going at one time.
Why don't you call yourself an artist?
Because I don't think I make quote unquote art, fine art, things that you see, like beautiful portraits, oil paintings, things that I guess consider art. Like when I love going to the museums, I don't see my shit in the museums. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
You're not like...
I know what you mean, but it's...
That's why. Because I can't do beautiful. I guess that's why. I like real life stuff, you know?
But
I want people to see the ugliness of life. And so that's what I'm making.
Yeah, but that can be art.
It can be. I guess it can be, yeah.
I actually the grittiness of Hoarder House and the grittiness of the shanty house, or the shanty houses, is that what they're called?
Shanty towns.
Shanty towns. Mm-hmm. The grittiness makes them beautiful. Makes them.
Well, to me, yes. Yeah.
But to a lot of people, I thought, I reached out to you to come and talk to you about this stuff.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, this was a side of Christi I didn't know. The last time I talked to you, you were going to. You were doing the
cremation school. Yes, I was studying. It's very hard.
Yeah.
But that's what I like. I like the things in life that people don't want to see.
More morbid? Is it a morbid curiosity that you have, or?
I do, but I also want other people to know. I guess that's like a first world thing. We tend to not look at that stuff. We don't want to look at that stuff. We don't want to see that stuff.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I know it's there and I try to sympathize with it and do, obviously I can't do a lot, but I try to do what I can to let people know that, hey, you're extremely privileged to just live in America. You have no idea. Just the fact that you were born and you live in the United States, you have massive privilege over so many other people in the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I don't know. It's just, I wanted people to see that. Hey, this is how people, like the shanty towns that I build, I always put a description under them. This is the population of them today, not, 200 years ago, or this is how they live today. So people don't want to see that. And
No,
I want them to see that.
Yeah. People want to see the shiny thing.
The shiny, beautiful.
Like, yeah. They don't want to see what's across the tracks.
The Kardashian stuff.
Right.
I guess.
Yeah.
What's the new fashion and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess. When it comes to like things like Hoarder House, you said that you love that show.
Yes.
I love that show.
Really?
I do. and because I think there's a little bit of hoarder on all of us.
Yeah.
I think so. Just kind of,
What do you hoard, Bernie?
I hoard a lot of things, but if anybody will tell you, that anybody that knows me, especially in the industry that I work with, is I hoard tuners.
Oh, okay.
And it comes from a time when I was really young and I started playing guitar and I didn't know how to tune a guitar. So the guy who was teaching me got me a pitch pipe.
Yes.
To tune that A string. And then that's how I learned. But then I started seeing my friends with these fancy electric tuners and I could never afford one.
Right.
So now I buy all the tuners and it's a problem. If a new tuner is released,
you get it?
I buy it.
You get it.
It's
okay.
just that. Like I have tuners of all makes and models, cheap ones, expensive ones, strobe tuners. And I say that people, you would think, oh, he's fucking kidding. But anybody who knows me will tell you, I have a lot of fucking tuners.
Put a number on it. How many do you think you have?
Think currently I own, and they're kind of separated. I have some in my work box, some at home, some that I've never even used because they're still brand new. I have maybe about, 30 to 40 tuners.
Wow.
They all do the same thing.
And you probably only need, what, 1 or 2? One and a backup?
I use one for work.
Oh.
But it's, to
so
me,
you need one.
it's an obsession. I'm obsessive about it, and I chalk it up to not being able to afford a tuner when I wanted one. And now that I can afford pretty much all the tuners,
you get the tuners.
I just get the tuners.
Right.
And I don't need them all. And sometimes I'm on the road and I see somebody and I was like, oh, here, man, take this, like check it out. Let me know what you think of it. But I hoard things like that,
I hoard things like this.
Like this, like Hoarder House.
Like Hoarder House and like all the... Do you need these art supplies? Yes. I don't.
No.
I have so many.
No.
But one day I might.
So you do have this exhibit going on. Are your pieces for sale?
Yes. Every piece.
Every piece
is for sale.
How do you decide what you charge for a piece? I don't know enough artists to ask these questions.
That's a good question. That's something that's like been going through. I've been struggling with because it falls back to me not thinking that my art is really art, because I see other artists and what they charge for like a really beautiful like piece that is, they have like true talent or whatever. And it's like, and I'm like, there's no way I could charge anything close to that for a house filled with garbage. You know what I mean? And I feel like, but then I get, feedback from other people and they're like, no, you gotta, this is amazing. It's a completely different view and, you've got to respect that and you have to put a price on it that's, respectable. You got to respect yourself. I guess is what they're saying. It's kind of hard to do, but there's another way they do it. They say, well, you got to calculate your hours that you've put into it.
Yeah.
Plus your materials and, all that stuff and add it up. And then and I'm like, I have no idea. The house this hoarder house has taken me, it'll probably, when I'm done, 9 months.
Mm-hmm.
How do I add that up over, into hours and stuff like that? So I don't know. I just come up with a price. And if somebody wants to pay it, I'm like, cool. And then if it doesn't sell, I'm like, maybe that's too much.
Let me put the clearance sign on.
Let me put
do you just get inspired, like the shanty towns? Do you just get inspired by things you read or things you see?
Yes, both, actually.
There was a piece in there that you called Bath Room. And
yes.
It caught my eye. And then you said, look, there's a skull in the tub. Like, why a skull in the tub?
I don't know, but anybody that knows me knows I have this thing for skulls. I love skulls. My house is filled with skulls. Yes, that's another piece that is not finished yet. I have tattooed skulls. I mean, I just have a thing with skulls. So I decided with all the tiny rooms like that, they're going to have hidden skulls in them.
Okay.
Just as like a little signature thing that I do.
Okay.
Throw a skull in there somewhere, see if you can find it.
Yeah. Well, you told me where this one was.
Yes.
I immediately spotted it.
Yes.
But that was a really cool piece too. Have you sold any yet?
I have sold 2 pieces actually. Yes. I was actually setting up on Sunday. I was setting up my stuff in the gallery, and there's an artist that's here, and they had a friend with them, and he came by and he was looking at my stuff, and he was like, wow, this is whatever he said. I don't even remember because I was all flustered that day trying to get everything set up. So he was like, how much is this piece and this piece? And I was like, I don't know. And I, went through because I'm supposed to have a price list. I didn't have it ready yet. But I went over to my stack of papers to make it look like I was looking for the price. And then I just rambled off some prices. And he was like, okay, I'll meet you at your studio on Thursday and I'll bring you a check. And I was like, sweet. So there you go.
Yeah.
I sold 2.
I follow this place, the Goldmark Cultural Center on Facebook. And that's how I found out about your exhibit. Do you promote it anywhere else? Like, are you telling like, hey, come check out my stuff? Do you not do it because why don't you do it?
Why? What were you going to say?
I don't know. I feel like you don't do it because you think no one would be interested in your art.
Yes, that's exactly right.
You're
100%
But when
right.
I was asking about it, like, you can explain it so well. I don't know if it's just because me and you and I are friends, but I was asking about it and you were telling me about it, and I was asking you. The detail's amazing on these pieces, by the way.
That's what I like. The tiny details.
Yeah, it is. and but it is art, and you should be proud of it, and you should be,
I'm trying to get there. I'm really trying to get there. I mean, I'm just, like now I'm like, maybe somebody will come across it because it's on Instagram. And I just think to myself, well, if they come across it, but I don't self-promote. I mean, the biggest self-promotion I've done is I have my Instagram name on my car, and that's even too small to read. So, so I don't know.
Is it a fear that someone's going to make fun of you, or is it a fear that someone's going to tell you like, this is shit?
Yes. I'm afraid that that I'm going to say, hey, come to my art show, and they're going to show up and be like, what the fuck is this? I thought it was an art show, or maybe not say anything at all and just kind of walk out, and I'm not expecting people to come in and buy everything. I'm not expecting. Those 2 sales that I got are amazing. And if that's all I get, I am completely happy. But I just feel like, I don't know. I just feel like somebody would walk in and is expecting something that you see like at the museums downtown, and that's just not what you're going to see.
But I think everything starts somewhere.
It does.
Even the stuff at the museums down. I don't go to museums, but even the stuff at the museums downtown. It's not that I don't appreciate art. It's just, you know, do you feel what do they call it? Imposter syndrome. Like you're pretending to be an artist, or what is the problem here? I'm trying to break you
now.
out
What
of
is that? You're going to give me another complex on top of the other complexes that I already have.
What I'm saying is you should promote. I have a friend. I won't say her name.
Okay, that's fine.
It's very closely associated with what we're doing now.
Uh-huh.
And she's an artist.
Mm-hmm.
She has the same thing. Like she doesn't consider herself an artist.
Right.
And her pieces are amazing and they're beautiful, but she sees them and thinks they're shit. But
we all do.
You know?
Yeah.
But what does it take to break that mold?
I don't think it. I don't.
You're in a place here where we're surrounded by artists.
Yeah.
Are there artists here that are always like, come look at my stuff? Or is everyone here just kind of learning?
Well, no, there's actually some very talented and very well established artists here, like artists that make a really good living at what they do here. And, like, I guess 9 to 5 artists.
Yeah.
You know? And then there's us, the ones that come in after our job. Exactly. To get in those few hours because we like to do it and we're hoping to, you know, make it into our, you know, way of living or, you know, whatever. But, you know, it's like, I don't know, because like people will come in and be like, oh, that's really cool. What is that? And I'm like, well, I was angry and I scribbled some lyrics and then I spilt my ink on it and I hung it on the wall because it was in the way. It's not a piece of art to me, but some people would like it. So it's just really random. I guess it's all relative. Somebody's going to love that. And I'm like, well, that was an accident.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you find it hard to take compliments about your art?
Yes.
Like if somebody came in and said, that's good, you can't just go, thank you.
No. I have to explain to them that was an accident. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think you'll get past that?
I hope so.
Because you and I were talking before this and you're like, you told me the goal is to make this the full-time gig.
Yes. So I don't know if this becomes the full-time gig.
Yeah.
I can't tell you that I would be past that stage even then.
Well, you've been doing this since 2007?
Mm-hmm.
2007. And some of the, like I said, the pieces in your exhibit, and even this one right here, like the detail going into that, you know, I've been... There's that whole theory of 10,000 hours. You do something for 10,000 hours, you've mastered it. You know, that's Gladwell's theory of 10,000 hours. I've been playing guitar since I was 13 years old. I feel the same way. I don't feel like I've mastered the guitar. I think that everything I play is shit. Even though someone will hear me, a piece that I recorded, and they're like, dude, that's badass. And I'm the same way. I'm like, well, if you listen, this wasn't there. Or this wasn't there.
Because we know.
But it's taken me, I'm 51, and it's taken me almost this long to learn how to just say, thanks, man.
Really?
You know? But I still, when I say thanks, man, in my head, it's like, you're being too fucking cocky.
Right. See, right. Exactly. Yeah.
Just nod your head and go, hey.
Is that a thing with artists?
I think it is. I think it is.
I think it is.
That, you know.
You don't want to stand back and go, yeah, I know my shit's good. You know, you don't want to do that. Or at least I don't.
But you know it's good though, right?
No.
But you do know it's good, right?
I like it. That's what I know.
Yeah.
And I know that people have told me that it's good. But then also, you don't tell someone they look fat when they ask you if they look fat. Are you being nice?
That's true.
You know what I mean? I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I don't know. You don't say that. You're not supposed to.
You're not supposed to say that.
Yeah.
But, I don't want people to say they like it if they don't. But then I want people to like it. But then when they say they like it, I'm like, oh, they're talking shit.
So people have told me that like I have a lot of friends who are artists, and they're all artists in their own unique way. You are completely original with your stuff, but I'm not an aficionado of art, so it's original to me. I think there is a market for what you do. Like I said, my friend who does I don't know what it's called, the pouring technique.
Yeah, acrylic pouring. Yes.
Pouring. I was in Fort Worth just recently, and they had a whole mess of this one woman's pouring art, and I'm walking, and it was so bad that I had to call her and say, dude, they're selling this shit for $200
a pop. Yeah, exactly.
And it's nowhere near as good as yours.
Right.
But yet she's on the other end of the line thinking her stuff is not good enough.
Right.
Because it's that, wow, when is it good enough?
I don't know.
Because I think
if somebody has the answer, please share it.
Real artists never like their stuff.
I think that's true.
But I think they have to come to that meeting that, okay,
yeah,
I'm going to have to, put some type of price into
right.
it. And I don't mean price as in monetary, but some kind of value into it.
Value, exactly.
Like if a stranger came up to you, like I was in there with you a minute ago and asked you about, could you explain to them, I know I asked you this earlier, I don't know if you answered it. Could you explain to them what that piece is like you did to me?
Probably not.
Is it no confidence or?
It's just, what I found is a lot of people approach me that like when we do a lot of art walks, like 4 times a year here. We do art walks, and that's where we open the doors and the public comes through and they get to see everybody. So when they come in, they always ask me, well, what inspired you to do this? Or, why are you doing this? Or what made you want to do this? And I can't give them that answer because I don't know. It's just, and I tell them it's just something that comes to me, and I'm like, hey, this is what I want to make, and I figure out how to make it.
Okay.
Or I come across something when I'm driving, like a guy walking past a big pile of whatever, and I'm like, wow, that's really cool. And then I decide to make it.
To duplicate it?
Yes.
Or do you do it by memory?
Yeah, just basically, or if I can snap pictures, that helps. But yeah. Yes.
So 2007, you did this. You started coming here to Goldmark a year ago?
A year and a half, almost 2 years ago, yeah.
How'd you find this place?
I actually found this place through a friend. I was teaching at the paint and sip places, where you drink and you paint.
Yeah.
I got a job at one of those. So there was a girl there, and she was like, hey, there's this place called Goldmark, and you should come check it out. And it was just by chance. She just happened to be a coworker, and she had a studio here. So, but this is like, ever since I found this place, it's like the best thing that's ever happened, because I was doing this in my house, and I would probably still be doing it in my house if I didn't find this place.
Right on.
Yeah.
So do you just come in here and crank up your music and
I just
work?
Crank up the music. Yes. And I work. People come by. I've got crazy studio neighbors, and they, what are you doing? It's like a community of artists that are just going through their own thing, and you hear music blaring from all the studios, all the different music, and we're just all doing our thing, and that's what we do. So I love it.
Did you
great.
feel very welcome here when you started coming immediately?
Yes. The director he's really good at that. He's amazing. So he makes you feel fantastic. I asked that because I've known you for a
long time, and you tend to, be somewhat of an introvert.
Yes. But here, I feel like I can be myself because everybody is like me. They're like into their art, but then also like me, kind of, is it art? We're all in that kind of space.
Yeah.
There are a few that are very, isn't this fantastic? Look at my beautiful, but then, there's some of us that are like,
put skulls in my tub.
Yeah, I'm gonna put skulls in my tub. Yeah, I'm probably one of the weirdest ones here. I'm probably the weirdest one here. Nobody here does what I do, so which is kind of strange.
It is, but like I said, what you're doing is very original. I've never seen anything like this. Like I said, I'm not an art aficionado. I'm not going around the little.
I mean, I haven't seen anything like this. So the only thing I've ever heard in reference to people seeing stuff like this, they're like, oh, that could be like a stop motion set.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay, well, there you go. There's one way to use it. Because I was like, that was another question I would get. Well, what would I do with this?
Speaking of, that's what, you just triggered something. Like looking at your stuff kind of looks like a Tool video.
Yes. See, the inspiration comes from that old Christi that you used to know.
Yeah.
Those things are still in my head. And they come out into art now. They're still in there. Music is a big inspiration in my art.
What are you listening to these days?
Oh, man. These days, my playlist is all over the place. From Tool, obviously, is on there. I've got all the old 80s bands. The hair bands are on there. I've got some old 80s rap, and the 90s rap is on there, and like the NWA is on there when I really need to get in the mood. And obviously I'm Panic at the Disco's on there because I just took Sarah to the concert.
Yeah. You have another exhibit coming up.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
November.
This is the one I'm nervous about.
And where will it be?
This one will be running from October the 22nd to November 5th. So it's going to run through Halloween. And it's at the Epic, which is a recreation center in Grand Prairie. I never heard of it.
Okay.
But it's a big deal. I went out there and checked it out. It's amazing. And they're starting an art gallery. They're trying to get to become like Bishop Arts. They want to be like that. So they've opened a section of their center for artists. So I'm going to be doing a show out there. And my reception will be on Halloween weekend, which is awesome.
Right on.
So
works right with your
exactly
your, aesthetic.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's the name of my show. It's weird.
So is this something you were invited to do, or did you?
Yeah, actually, after he saw the house that's in the other, the little abandoned house, he saw it in one of the art walks in February. He came back a year later and found me and said, "I want you to be in my gallery." And I was like, "I don't know you." You're a stranger danger.
Well, it's got to make you feel good.
It did. You should have seen me. One of my friends walked by while I was talking to him, and they were like, it looked like you were in the principal's office getting in trouble. I was in complete shock.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm excited about that one.
Spoken like somebody who spent a lot of time in the principal's
I don't know what you're talking about. I was good in school.
Anyway, I appreciate you talking to me tonight. I know you were freaked out when I reached
Very
out
freaked
to you.
out. Very
and
freaked
I know
out.
you have a problem with giving yourself props.
Yes.
I do want to take a picture of the little miniature pores, and I want to show them to my friend.
Okay.
Because I think she would dig that.
Yeah. Yeah.
What, as an artist, like I said, the similarities of not wanting to give yourself credit. I bet though you give great advice.
I do.
What would you tell someone who feels that way, who doesn't feel the confidence that they're good, but they're really good? Like you see it, they don't see it. What would you tell somebody?
Just keep doing it. Just keep because that's what I do. Just keep doing what you love. And if you love it and if it makes you feel good and if you're in that headspace to where you're just like jamming to music and making a mess and having fun, then it's a win. That's how I see it.
Right on.
You know what I mean? It makes you feel good.
Well, dude, I'm super proud of you.
Oh,
And I dig your works of art because that's what they are. I really dig them, and I'm not just saying that because we're friends. Like, like I said, this is a completely different side of you that I didn't know.
Yeah,
that I didn't even know existed, and so I'm really proud of you.
Thank you so much.
I'm really proud of where you are from where you were.
Yes.
The last time we met. You know.
Yes.
So
thank you so much for having me on your show.
Oh, thank you for doing it. You know what the next question's going to be? It's called, is breakfast included? So if it was included, what would you have?
For breakfast?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, it would be the same thing. It would be hash browns, scrambled eggs, bacon, and pancakes. Buttermilk pancakes.
The best.
The plain, original buttermilk pancakes. And lots of coffee.
Where can people find you on social media?
Instagram. I'm at Christi Uninhabited on Instagram and also on Facebook.
Do you have a website or anything?
I don't have a website yet.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm actually trying to buy that domain name. Thank you so much. All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Right on, Christi Clark. You can find her work at Christi_uninhibited, and that's Christi with just an I, no E, CHRISTI_uninhibited. Go check it out. And if you're in the Dallas area, go check out her art at the Goldmark Cultural Center. All right, guys, I am done. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next week.